I thought I'd been cancelled.
Not only have you sort of written for Michelin Guide Emirates, you're also hosting for Zomato Korean Michelin 50 Best, like some big boys and girls. And at the same time, I want to understand the idea behind the Best of Dubai series. How did that come about?
These guys in the UK were doing it. There's this wonderful girl in Ireland that's doing it. There's another guy in Hong Kong who was doing it. And no one was doing it in Dubai. And I was like, we're better than all of them.
Did you have a crew? Was it one person, first of all? How did that work?
I just brought 5 different outfits and we toured around the city. I drove and we just went for it.
How long did it take to film each one?
7 minutes. The first one went out and it did pretty well. I think it was like 100,000, something like that. But Kelvin's just flew. When I woke up the next morning, I thought I'd been cancelled. My phone was just on fire. And I was just like, guys, like, I don't know what's happened. I'm freaking out.
Hello my friends, and a very warm welcome back to another episode of the Chef JKP Podcast. So what have your weekend plans been? Are you hosting friends? Are you over for dinner? Are you being hosted? Maybe you're going on a date. Perhaps a spot of gardening for some of you. Whatever you're up to, let me know, as I always find it super interesting as to what you are doing, the Chef JKP soldiers. Now, before we dive in, if you haven't already, please do not forget to hit that all-important subscribe button on YouTube or press follow wherever you get your podcasts, as it helps to grow the show. We can keep on bringing the most fascinating conversations with the most inspirational guests. That is all we will ever ask of you. For today's guest is someone who spends their life telling stories behind food. Laura Lai is a food writer, presenter, and content creator who has built a reputation for documenting culture and people behind the culinary world. And that's the thing about food. Behind every dish, there is a story. Sometimes it's a childhood memory. Sometimes it's a chef chasing perfection. Sometimes it's a kitchen disaster and somehow turned into something delicious. Laura has made a career out of capturing those incredible stories. Today, we're going to talk about food journalism, storytelling, and how the world of food media has completely transformed, especially in the age of social media. At the same time, I also want to know something. Does she ever get tired of eating out? Because after about 10 restaurant tastings a week, I started dreaming just about toast, actually. Laura, a very warm welcome to the show. It was a pleasure to have you. Well, gang, listen out for a story about being a judge. Time to rock and roll.
Hi guys, it's Laura Coughlin, your food writer extraordinaire in Dubai. If you like this podcast, please make sure that you follow, share and subscribe.
Laura, a very warm welcome to the show. Now, as is customary, can you tell me your first or favourite childhood food memory, please?
Gosh, my first childhood memory. I think purely, I spent a lot of my childhood eating the same food. My mum would make me a Chinese porridge. We'd call that congee.
Oh, okay. Tell me all, please.
So, well, my mum would call it juk. I think that's like a sort of Cantonese, Malaysian way of saying it, but it's effectively congee. All it is, it's rice porridge. Rice porridge, maybe vegetable stock, maybe some chicken stock if I was lucky, and just tons of soya sauce. And I lived on that. Whether I was 5 years old, 15 years old, honestly, if I'm still sick, I'll make it for myself. It has been with me my whole life.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it looks like gruel, but if you ask anybody in Southeast Asia, we love the stuff.
Right.
Can't get enough of it.
Okay, so I've never cooked it myself, obviously. I've heard of it, right? But I want to understand the gists of it. So when you say when you were a kid, I mean, you're talking from like the age of 2, 3, 1. I mean,
absolutely. Well, yeah, because this is, I mean, it's so soft. It's like porridge, right? It's just super soft. So this was baby food for us. It's like my absolute comfort food.
Right.
And to make it is so unbelievably simple. It's just like, let's say, a cup of rice, long grain rice, 4 cups of water. If you want to be really special, you'll, cut up some ginger, throw that in. If you want to be really, really, super fancy, you're throwing on some spring onions at the top of it, maybe like a soft-boiled egg, dip that in there. And
Go wild.
I mean, that is like proper gourmet.
Right. Okay, cool.
I lived off it.
But it also sounds really comforting because you've got like obviously the soft rice and things like that, and then the chicken. So I can imagine why, if you're a little bit ill or whatever, you have that, and it's actually like very good for you.
Oh, it's just the best. It made me happy, and it made my mum extremely happy that I was such a simple eater.
Right.
Because if she just gave me that, left it in the fridge, and I cooked it myself, or she cooked it for me, literally morning, noon, and night.
Nice.
I lived off the stuff. Okay. Heaven. I'll make you some.
Happy days. Yeah, please. Well, I mean, that's it. Done. And then in terms of the rest of the family meals, as you were sort of growing up into your teenage years, what were the sort of types of food that perhaps you had on the family table, and also when you were a bit sneaky, going to see friends and things like that?
Well, you have to understand that both my parents were cooks, right? So they were in, and this wasn't like gourmet restaurants. They were like star feeding. This was canteen life,
right?
But it was late nights for them. So the way I ate was extremely simple, and we do like a big batch of like bolognese. My mum would make a brilliant bolognese, and that would last us like a couple of days. And then there was a time that I would eat, roast chicken legs and rice for years. It was very like simple stuff, very super basic, delicious, but they, as all cooks know, as all chefs know, you don't have that much time in your own kitchen sometimes. So it was very very basic meals, but then they would show off at special occasions, right? Christmas was a huge deal in my family.
Right, okay.
We'd have the whole family over, and my dad would accommodate everybody's cooking. And this was a real family affair, right? My father would be the head chef, my mother would be the sous chef, I would be the taste tester, and we would accommodate everybody. So my grandfather, all grumpy, he doesn't want turkey, humbug, that's terrible. He wants goose. So I was like, right, okay, he needs goose.
Okay.
Then we need to accommodate the vegetarians, we need to accommodate the people that think turkey's too dry. I'm boring, I want chicken. And so my father, God love him, he's cooking all the different meats for a table of maybe 12.
Oh my God.
But he would do it, I think, he would do it, he would be a bit stressed about it, but he also had a lot of pride in what he did.
And can I just ask then, so who would then carve those meats? Would it be your granddad, would it be your dad, or would everyone just like tuck in and go wild?
No, my father would definitely lead that. He would be in the kitchen for the majority of the morning and the afternoon. He would ask everybody to come and sit down, and he would carve for sure. And
as chief taste tester yourself,
what a joy!
I mean, this sounds almost like a Michelin inspector type job. Tell me about that. I mean, obviously, were you helping to set the table, or were you just like trying to just chop some carrots here and there? What were you doing?
No, like my jobs, as I got older, my jobs became more severe. So
severe?
It was severe. It started off easy. I'd taste the gravy. My father would call me down from the stairs. He'd be like, Laura, come taste. So I was sort of gravy tester for the earlier years. Then by the time I hit teenage years, he'd make me peel potatoes until... I hated all the potatoes in the world, you know. But I peeled, so I'd been charged like peeling potatoes. I would do a crisscross on all of the Brussels sprouts. Yeah. That was my job. Cleaning all the vegetables was a lot of my responsibility. Yeah.
It's a big job.
It's an important job. It's an important job. Everyone should do it. So I spent a lot of big family gatherings doing that. But predominantly, I would be taste testing, the gravy. And like picking off a few like little bits of roasted veg just to make sure they're all cooked and tasty.
Good times.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's great.
So then if we got towards sort of high school and college, I want to understand, were you originally into sort of marketing and things like that, or did you sort of fall into it?
Oh, I was kind of like pushed into it. I was shoved into marketing. I think I wanted to study loved English and I loved theatre, and I think I would have loved to have studied theatre studies. I loved being dramatic and talking to people, and I really enjoyed that. But my father, I think, was kind of worried about that angle for me. I mean, I was absolutely not going to be an actress by any stretch, but I really enjoyed theatre.
Okay.
And he said, well, you know, marketing's like theatre.
Okay.
I was like, I don't even know what marketing is, Dad. And so he kind of just said, you know, that's when you're going to be selling yourself and selling products and, you know, really promoting things to other people and saying why they're great. And you'll be standing up on not on stage, but you'll be standing up making presentations. And I think that'll be great for you. And then I remember going to my sixth form, taking one of those ridiculous tests that tell you, you know, what you're ideally suited for. And I think, funnily enough, journalism was the second option, and the first said marketing. And I just thought, oh, Dad's right again. So off I went. I went to Lancaster Uni and studied marketing, having absolutely no idea what that really meant.
Okay, so for those roughly 3 years and a bit, sort of take me through year by year as to sort of what you were learning at that time.
Sure, yeah. So our first year, Lancaster University was kind of different in the sense that you were allowed to pick. You went into the university doing the degree that you had earned the place for. So I'd earned the place for marketing. So you were allowed to do marketing, but you could also choose 2 other subjects.
Okay.
In case they felt like in case you maybe wanted to change your major. So I chose sociology and media studies. I mean, real cop-outs. I just wanted to have fun. I was like, media stuff, I'm just going to watch movies. So I studied. I mean, I was loosely joking. Really loosely. Does anyone study in their first year?
I don't know, you just turn up now.
Just turn up. So, I mean, so there was work involved, but predominantly my university life was all sport related. I was a netball player in school, and I trialled for the university team, and I got into the team there, and they are to date my bestest friends. Like, I adore them. So my whole university was really, marketing took a really big sidestep. Netball was life for me.
Right. Okay.
It was, and that sort of sport camaraderie, team life was it for me. I loved it. Please don't ask me about my food intake at university.
Well, I was going to say, you know, was it?
It was so basic.
Was
James.
it still congee? Was it chicken legs?
I mean, it was
chicken wings.
I realised as soon as I got to university, because it was all self-catered.
Right.
Right. So most of the universities in England there's catered. There's canteens that you can go and rock up to, and you know, just stand with your tray, and off you go and get yourself some food. For some reason, I'd picked a university that was all self-catered. So I rocked up into my halls at, 18 years old. And apart from congee, I had nothing. I don't know what else to make. Panicked at the supermarket. Went to Sainsbury's, picked up tins of. I mean, I lived off tomato soup for the first semester. Tomato soup and grilled cheese toasties.
Right. Very high in protein.
Is it?
No.
Okay. It was carb heavy and bland. And then I lived off Spar. You know Spar, the supermarket?
Yes.
They used to do like an absolutely mean sausage dinner for about £1.99.
Nice. Perfect for students.
Oh, it was just heaven. I miss those, to be honest. And Greggs sausage rolls. That's what I lived off.
Okay.
So yeah.
So it's like it's a good sort of sporting diet.
Well,
let's
yeah.
say.
All I can say is that maybe we burned off the calories a little bit, but yeah, it wasn't gourmet, but God, it was fun.
But at which point then, because obviously you had the netball life, which was really cool.
Yeah.
But at which point did you sort of start to take the degree seriously?
I think I had to start taking it seriously in third year. In second year, I'd done fine. First year, I was, you just scrape by. Second year, I'd done fine. By third year, it was getting serious then. But a lot of our course was not so much exam-based as it was coursework and dissertation, and lots of presentations. And I excelled in that. So,
right.
I mean, I had a great team with me as well. You know, for our coursework and dissertations, we're all kind of group activities. And a lot of the quantitative research and the qualitative research. So the quantitative research, I wasn't so great at. The math and the data, that wasn't my forte. But qualitative research, hosting focus groups, going into schools and introducing ourselves and coming up with ideas for what we were promoting or what we were research we were trying to find. That I really enjoyed. That was really fun. We were working on a project with Reebok.
Right. Okay.
So we've been hired by Reebok to come up with the next big sport that they could latch onto, that they felt like the younger generation or younger kids were going to be more interested in. So we had to go into different schools and find out, like, what's everybody interested in? What, are people like more interested in track and field? Are they more interested in, like football? Or is it something completely different? And what we learned, which was super interesting, was that it was all about American sports for them. Everybody was like super interested in basketball. People were interested in like those kind of really cool American stars, NFL, basketball. What else was it? People were sort of keen on that. So they wanted to create, and they wanted like streetwear, which is so interesting, right? This was 2006. They wanted like cool sport streetwear that they could wear every day, not just for sports. So that's what we learned from that, and then we pitched that to the Reebok team, and it's kind of been what's happened.
Did they use it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they ever actually used it, but we got a good mark.
Yeah,
so it was good. Yeah, so I enjoyed it.
And I want to understand from then on, how did you go from Lancaster to Shanghai? 'Cause that's quite a journey.
Yeah, it was. It was a journey. When you think of it, I guess when you don't know me or maybe my background. But I'd always loved to travel. Even in school, I remember the school I went to, out of the blue at like 14 years old, they said that the year 9s were being offered the opportunity for a group of girls to go to Thailand for a term. And I didn't think anything of it. But then I was in the fish and chip shop with my mum and dad, as we always did on a Friday. And they said, how's school this week? And I was like, oh, yeah, stuffing my face with a battered sausage, I think, at the time. God, I love sausages. I've just realised. How many times have I said sausages in this
It's good.
in this podcast? It's ironic. Right. So we were sitting inside this for the fish and chip shop, and I said, they asked me if anything was new, and as I was eating the sausage, I said, oh, funnily enough, yeah, we've been asked if we want to go to Thailand for a term. I was 14. And my mum and dad were like, would you want to go? And to be honest with you, I never even considered it as an option. I thought money and, is it dangerous? They're not going to want me to leave school. But their openness and curiosity and willingness to sort of see what I thought about that was really cool. And it really excited me. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to go. So I went to school next day and I signed up. And I spent a term in Thailand at 14 years old at like an international school. And it unlocked something in me. The adventure of it all, I thrived off, throwing myself into somewhere that I didn't know and trying and seeing if I landed. And the fear and the worry and the lack of worry. If it didn't work out, it's okay. I can go back, or it's okay. It's only for a short period of time. It's not forever. Let's give it a shot and see how that feels. That really gave me the impetus to kind of do it again. So when I graduated uni with a 2-1, I sort of sat there and was like, oh my God, I've got a business degree with the most general grade, right? 2-1 is like your middle ground. It's good. It's not first. It's not 2-2. So you're not an absolute failure. but it's a 2-1.
Right.
And I just thought, everyone's got that. Everyone's going to have a business degree and a 2-1. What's going to make me stand out? I've got nothing to put in my CV, save for a couple of stints at my parents' canteens or throughout my schooling. So where do I go? What do I do? So I applied for an internship. I applied for an internship in Shanghai. It was marketing. It was for a new kind of development in Shanghai. And I went for it. And I got offered the internship. It was going to be for 3 months. I go for a little bit and I come back to to the UK and find a job.
So let's set the scene.
Yeah.
You got the job, and I'm assuming that at this stage you'd never been to Shanghai.
Correct.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're at home, you're excited, you got the gig, Lancaster, so on and so forth. You have an idea about China and Shanghai, but then when you get to Shanghai, which is a metropolis of around, I think, 28 million people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Tell me about the first week that you're there.
Honestly, it was wild, right? I was 21. I knew nobody, but the sort of the company that helped me find the internship put you in an apartment with other people who were also doing internships. Not necessarily at the same place that I was interning, although two of them were, but I had two they were like interns in hospitals. They were with me too, all roughly the same age, all from different parts of the world. So we had like two Brits, a German guy, a guy from Hong Kong, and a French guy. But we've never met. A couple of them have been there maybe like a month before I have. And anyway, I stroll in on a weekday. They're all at work. And I'm just, the person who sort of let me in, which was like, okay, good luck. Here's my number. Let me know if you need any assistance. I was like, thanks. And I just sort of sat inside this apartment. I have no idea where I am in the city. Nobody speaks English. And I say, right, I'll go for a little walk around my neighbourhood. And I'm starving. And I go into a supermarket and everything's in Chinese. Every meat looks exactly the same. Everything is miscellaneous. And I have no idea what to do. I panic, I leave, I go into a restaurant. Again, same thing. Every picture, Chinese characters. I don't know how to say anything. So I panic, I go to a McDonald's and then, point at some chip. I'm like, this one, number 5.
Yeah, fair enough.
Run.
Done.
And I go home. And so I think that first night, I thought, oh my God, what have I done? This is too big for me. But then I went, on the Monday into work, and the people that I was working with, these other interns, there was this absolute sense that we were on this huge adventure. And the greatest thing about Shanghai, similar to Dubai, this kind of, but even more so in Shanghai, expats there, or people who've arrived in Shanghai, have all seemed to have, they all feel like you've unearthed this secret, or you've gone through this secret gate into this magical land where the possibilities are infinite, and it's almost like everyone's like fist pumping you, being like, you made it too, how cool is this? And that's how it felt all the time. We felt like we were kings and queens. Like, it just felt fantastic to eat xiaolongbao, like by the like we would have like 20 baskets high of xiaolongbao, and it was cheap as chips, and beers, and we'd be sitting on the street, and we'd just and we'd work and we'd play and we'd party, and no one knew who we were or what we were doing. We could be silly and fun, and it just felt, it was the best time of my life.
Because Shanghai is an incredibly dynamic city.
Yeah.
Right,
amazing.
and it's huge, and you've got the old city, it's a metropolis, and so it is incredible. So I can imagine that once you unearthed the gold,
absolutely.
let's say.
Yeah, when you found like we were sort of all embedded in the French concession, right? We're in Puxi. We all had bikes, little electric bikes. We'd go to our work, we'd ride our bikes, we'd all meet at a cocktail bar after work. It was just and it was just this over and over again. We'd work sort of hard, then we'd leave, we'd go and eat food, we'd party, and it was just our diets were awful, but like we were young, so it didn't matter. And yeah, we could be whoever we wanted to be, and that's what I absolutely loved about Shanghai.
So after the internship,
Yeah.
you stayed on.
I did.
And worked for a further 3 years.
Yeah.
What spurred you on to stay?
Oh, I was obsessed with it. It had engulfed me not living in the UK and doing something different, doing something exciting, being somewhere that felt electric, it was intoxicating. I couldn't leave. I had to see what else was possible. And what was really great is that, the internship ended, and then I thought, I'm going to learn Chinese. I'm going to be like a spy. I'm going to be brilliant. I could be a spy if I could learn how to speak Chinese. I lasted about 5 months learning Chinese. Okay. Too hard for me.
But you had the gist, basics, right, and all of that.
Anything to get a visa, to be honest. But yes, we could speak. Yes, I think by the end of 4 years, we were conversational, and we can get from A to B. We could have light conversations, and that was enough. We could order the bill. We could order some food.
Right.
The important stuff.
What you need to do, right?
Exactly. Had I put maybe a bit more effort into it, maybe I could have done better. But it was enough. It was enough for me. And I stayed on. I took on a sales job in a magazine. Hated it. Oh my God, I was terrible at selling, hard selling, But I was freelance writing for the first time ever. Freelance writing for English language magazines.
Right,
and that's how I got into it. Or it just so happened that the group of people that I was sort of surrounding myself with were all journalists. I had no idea that this sort of life existed. They were off trying these new workouts and reviewing them, going to new restaurants and reviewing them, going to art galleries and, previews of art galleries. And they were overwhelmed with work. And so I offered my services. I said, listen, if you need my help, I'll do it for free.
So is that how you started to initially get into it then?
That's how I started. It was all just, I'd loved English in school. I'd written some university match reports, but really, I wrote, that was it. But then they needed some help. And so I offered my services for free because I thought, oh my God, I get to go and eat at a restaurant and write about it. What a joy. So I started doing that for all sorts of things, activities, sort of nearby travel destinations around, like outside of Shanghai, all sorts of things. It was great fun.
So from that job, how did you then land in the UAE?
So after about 4 years, I think of inhaling like a lot of pollution, I think it was time for me to go somewhere new. And I now had this kind of portfolio, an accidental portfolio of work in lifestyle journalism that I hadn't planned on doing, but it was the thing that brought me absolute joy. And so I thought, right, I'm gonna try my luck here and see if I can find a job as a features writer somewhere else that is very open and welcoming to people from the rest of the world. And Dubai was coming up a lot. I didn't know any. I had 2 really close friends whose families lived here when I was at university. And so they were like, you're gonna love Dubai. It's wicked. And so I applied to, I think, a couple of jobs. I think I applied to a job at ITP, and I applied to a job with Explorer Publishing. And I think the interview process maybe took a couple of months, but I landed this job. They offered me the job on Christmas Day, 2011, I think it was. And by New Year's Eve, I was in Dubai.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 2012, let's say.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Arrived to this another city, which I think I arrived like super early in the morning. And I remember thinking, man, this is a long road. Doesn't end. This road doesn't end. From the airport, I was staying in Dubai Marina, and I just was like, this is totally different to Shanghai. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do exactly the same. You know, it's so fun. Exactly the same feelings. Like, am I going to be able to do this? It wasn't like super excitement. It was super excitement before I'd leave anyway. Sure. But as soon as I landed, I was just like, I don't know. Am I going to be all right here?
Did you land in the day or in the night?
In the day. I arrived early, like it was morning. It was about 6 o'clock in the morning, I think, something like that.
So Sheikh Zayed Road.
Sheikh Zayed Road, straight down, no traffic, and straight down, all the way down, arrived in this big sort of apartment. and I arrive on whatever the New Year's Eve was, and obviously, my first day of work was the Sunday.
Right. Yes.
Sunday.
Yes.
Sunday the 2nd of January
Right.
was my work. And yeah, I just thought, if it's awful, it's fine. Oh, if it's awful, it's fine. If I don't like it, I will hop back to Shanghai, and everything will be okay.
Right.
Just erase it from my memory. And I just thought, it's fine. And on that Sunday, I drove into Explorer Publishing, which was in Alcaz, which back then, it just felt like in the middle of nowhere in sort of these warehouse spaces. And I walked into the publishing house prepared to think I'm not going to like this. And it was the most welcoming, lovely environment ever. I just felt like I was home. They'd put a palm tree in the middle of the office space. There was a winding stairs and all the editors we lived and worked upstairs. And everybody came and said hello to me.
Oh, wow.
And my boss, Claire England, she was phenomenal, an absolute mentor. I looked up to her from the day I started until the day she left Explorer. She made me love the UAE and love what I do.
What an amazing thing to sort of go through, though, in a way that you have those preconceptions.
Yeah.
And then everybody ends up being welcoming, which is so important.
So important. Do you remember Explorer? Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
They used to have these they were like the resident guides. They're off-road books. People go out camping and they would have these guidebooks to where to camp and where to go and how to get there. It was all about adventure and exploring the UAE, literally. And I just got to be a part of that. Oh,
so I want to understand, so when you first landed and you got this job, what were the types of features you were sort of doing?
So the first, I think I remember I arrived on the Sunday, and I think that very first day, Claire said to me, so you're going on telly on Wednesday, you're going to go and talk about camping in the UAE and some of the best spots to go camping. And I was like, on Wednesday? I didn't even know what the UAE was at this point. She said, so mention Fujairah. Mention that Fujairah's got some great camping spots. Ras Al Khaimah's also great. It's rocky. It's really fun. I was like, I don't know what any of you're just saying funny words that I don't know what any of it means at this point. She said, you also need to talk about safety precautions, especially if you're going with kids camping. I have never camped. I haven't camped in general.
Yeah, number one.
Let alone in the UAE. I don't know what Fujairah is. I don't know what Ras Al Khaimah is. I mean, they could have been like food groups at this point. I didn't know what the safety procedures were of camping. But sure enough, Wednesday comes around and I'm sitting in Dubai 1. Right? I'm sitting in Dubai 1. Sitting in front of Tom Urquhart.
Yeah, legend.
And he's like, so, tell me about camping. I'm like, well, let me tell you. Let me tell you about camping. I'll tell you all about camping. And but I loved it. Do you know what I mean? Like now, of course, we've been camping so many times, but it was just the thrill of it, the trust that the team kind of gave me, and the things we were writing about. We were talking about like where to go scuba diving. We were talking about like best camping spots. We were talking about here are great places to eat. But we were doing everything. We were like reviewing mountain bikes. It was just wild. And again, another adventure.
How long did you stay there for?
I was there for about, I think it was like 3 or 4 years. 3 or 4 great years. Yeah.
I'm going to ask the team to show me that first clip. I want to
Sure,
see it.
I'll find
I reckon
it
it'll be amazing.
It was brilliant.
Where did you move after that?
So then I'd always had a soft spot for What's On. Always. I would pick up their magazine all the time, and I loved it because it was chunky and it was gritty and it was fun and it felt really, really knowledgeable about the UAE. And I'd kind of researched all the team, and they all just looked like great people. And so, but I didn't know how to get in. I'm sure that lots of journalists were applying, and I didn't know how to get in. So I asked Helen Farmer.
Right.
So Helen had worked at Explorer. I've sort of kind of followed her career. So she worked at Explorer. She left Explorer and she went to What's On. I was Explorer, and then I asked her for a connection with Mark Evans. He was the group editor of What's On. Are they looking for a job? Are they looking for anyone new? I'd love to put my name in the ring. And she said, I don't know, but I'm about to open up my own magazine. She was starting Good Magazine at Motivate. So there may be some spaces. They may be looking for some junior writers or features writers. So I messaged him, and we had a coffee, and he hired me, and I became a features writer, about 4 years after Explorer, and joined What's On.
And during that time, because you'd been there for quite some time.
4 years, give or take.
And sort of by the end of it, you were head of content.
Yeah.
For What's On. So from where you came, as in liking the magazine, being a fan.
Yeah.
As you said, it was fun, it was gritty, it was chunky.
Yeah.
To then actually becoming head of content.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's a massive deal. Because there's a lot of planning involved that goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you could just tell me, by the end of your sort of stint, let's say the last 6 months of being within the magazine, what was your sort of day to day?
I mean, it was a totally different. It was a totally different scene. But by the end, towards the end of my time at What's On, when I first started, our main concern was this magazine. Right, we had 6 people working on like a 220-page magazine. It was enormous.
That's it. Only 6.
Yeah, I mean that was a lot, really.
Right.
The website had barely begun. Matt Fortune had been brought on to be our web editor and really and boost it. We were a bit slow off the mark getting a website together, but he absolutely blew everybody out of the water with his website. And so I was brought on at the early days to work on both, which I loved. But by the end of it, we had a thriving website, socials to handle, What's On Dubai, What's On Abu Dhabi, What's On Saudi, experiential events, and. Now, your head of back in the day, your editor was your bastion of editorial content. But that's changed now. You need to be that. You need to be, as best as you can, a mentor and an ear to your team, right? And you need to think commercially too. And you need to be a marketer, and you need to be a brand. It was a lot of pressure. I guess it was a lot of pressure, but I loved it. I loved it so much. What's On, still do. But it was definitely different. And it was a challenge. Not to say that it wasn't a challenge back in the day. It absolutely was. But at least you didn't have to kind of you didn't have to spin so many plates, right? Now it's like you need to be in the sales meetings. You need to be planning ahead. You need to be thinking of how you draw in a crowd to these experiential events, making people feel like the brand, and reading a magazine, and make sure they have eyeballs on all your social channels, and have a thriving digital website. And the only way for that to be possible is to have an unbelievable team, which we did. I did. We were so strong in COVID, and then even after COVID, brought on Alice Poltham, and we had this killer team who made me look good. If I'm honest with you, they made me look great. As long as I was there to sort of, buffer any sort of upper level staff, make sure that they had the freedom to do what they were hired to do and and love their jobs. I just felt that was towards the end, that was my job. The problem is I missed. The higher you go, the more you're sort of your bottom's on a seat, editing everybody else's work or fighting fires. And I missed getting out there. I missed talking to people. I felt too tired to speak to chefs and meet these chefs who I've watched flourish, from 2012, but I wasn't seeing them, wasn't speaking to them. I'd be like, okay, they've got a new restaurant, great, I'll never get there. And it was the same with all these other activities. I spent the first 6 years of What's On just jumping out of airplanes or strapped onto an airplane. But then as time went, I was like, you do it, you do it, I'm tired. And I missed that feeling. And so I think that's ultimately why I moved in the end.
So if I take you back to then, we've had several journalists and people within the media on the show. And I want to understand specifically from the chef and restaurant perspective.
Yeah.
Was there any or ever in a time that What's On or your team got into hot water with restaurants or chefs where perhaps you might have written something or not written something?
Very good question.
Just because, the rules have changed throughout so many years of writing and the journalistic landscape.
Yeah.
Or perhaps maybe that some chefs kicked off because you didn't review them or because they didn't win an award and all of these sorts of things.
God. That happens all the time. That's part of the course. That, do you know what? Maybe not necessarily chefs, but maybe their teams would get upset with us. Why haven't we won awards? We should have won this. And you just sort of listen to them, hear them out, tell them, yeah, I know. We had a bit of a buffer, again, because it was, the votes were predominantly by the people. The editorial team at What's On only have the option of 5 votes at the end. Best restaurant, best newcomer, best chef, best homegrown, and maybe that's it, 4. And the odd like sustainable one. We would choose those.
Right, okay.
We had free reign of that. But otherwise, it was predominantly voting only. We would only get involved if the votes looked skewed. And that's when we would all kind of come together and start telling people off. And that's when some people would get mad. Okay,
because
John.
3,000 people
I'm like, John,
have voted. Yeah.
John, there's like 3,000 votes from the same IP address. So that was quite fun. But otherwise, from a review standpoint, I think we've had a few grumbles here and there. Mostly we'd get grumbles because the team were very good at sniffing out new restaurants, and maybe those new restaurants didn't want to be announced yet. So we'd kind of do that, being like, look, 25 new restaurants to look out for. So we'd get a few people kind of telling us, take that down. And we're like, but you've got hoarding up, so no. And then review-wise, maybe back in the day, I think I wrote an article about Salt Bay, which didn't go down super well. I remember one of my old colleagues wrote a scathing review about a restaurant. God, I wish I could remember it. Somewhere in Media City, which was really well written, but he got in a bit of hot water. I think once I wrote about a 5-star hotel restaurant and said that I couldn't get actually into the dessert because it was frozen solid. But typically, What's On stance has always been not to pick the fly in the soup, so to speak, right? We've always been the ones to kind of champion what's good and then not write about what is bad.
Sure.
And if we didn't love something, we'd tell them and be like, listen, this was bad, we're not going to write about it. That was kind of the stance of What's On, and I respected that. Some people don't, food critics will be really, really clear. We would be critical quietly and sort of email them separately. What's On's stance was very sort of, we were championing everybody, and I've kind of followed that through now.
But those emails then that you say to the chefs of the restaurant says, by the way, the meal wasn't particularly great, so on and so forth.
Sure.
Would they come back to you and say, could you please just explain what happened in order for us to get better? Or would they go the other way and be like, how dare you?
No. Do you know what? No one's ever, to me anyway, no one's ever said it like that. And typically for the emails that I've said, listen, when we're gonna halt, we're gonna push pause on the review. Here are some things that went down. Thank you so much for having us. This was great. It's sort of a shit sandwich.
Yeah.
So you'd say like, this was great. This we really enjoyed, but there were some real problems here. The dishes were this. We asked for that. This wasn't served, and the dessert was frozen. But thanks again. Maybe we can come and review it, in a couple of months' time. That was the kind of general thing. But honestly, it rarely happened. And no, people, chefs, restaurateurs, with me anyway, that I ever saw, they weren't rude or difficult. No.
So then in 2022,
yes,
You'd been in
This is your life.
You've been in.
He knows everything.
It's my job.
I know.
It's my job
good.
to know.
It's very good.
So in 2022, you stepped away from a rather large corporation,
Yeah.
a phenomenal job, to then go it alone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
That's a really hard question to answer, James. I think mainly I'd been at What's On for 8 years. I started from the bottom. Now I was was head of content, and I felt like I had done everything that I could do. The next level for me was maybe, editorial director, sitting in a boardroom with the Motivate guys, and I just didn't feel like I had it in me to do it. I thought and I felt like, the nature of publishing is quite cyclical. You kind of follow, it's Christmas and then it's New Year and then it's
Ramadan,
Valentine's Day and then it's Ramadan and then we've got brunches and I just thought, I don't know if I've got another year around the sun doing this differently or coming up with new events and being excited about it. And to be honest with you, I felt like I was getting a bit old for it all, Like, there's something in What's On that I feel should be kind of young and spunky, and I felt old and whatever the old opposite of spunky is. It was just I was a bit stale.
Right.
And so I just was I felt like I'd maybe would do the brand a disservice if I kept going. And there was a really strong team. I didn't need to be there anymore. And so I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew that the idea of doing something for myself, maybe I'd take another full-time job, but maybe doing something for myself, freelancing for a little bit, getting back to writing that I would have missed, maybe seeing all these people that I've seen flourish and getting to know them a little bit better, maybe writing some guidebooks myself. I didn't know, but I felt like it was the right time to give it a shot.
So, was there a plan in the beginning?
Yeah.
When you sort of started formulating, look, I think I'm going to just pack it in. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, 8 years is hardcore in a company and incredibly respectable. But did you have an initial plan? I mean, did you want to go back to Shanghai, London, or was home going to be the UAE?
Oh yeah, home was definitely going to be the UAE. But I loved the idea of being able to travel whenever I wanted. Now I can't even imagine it. But you having to apply to leave the country. I found that such a struggle, and I wanted to be somewhere else. I think after COVID, when we were all kind of working from home, suddenly this need to be in an office felt much harder, right, than before. And I was encouraging the team, I was telling the team when we were going to kind of come back into the office, but I was feeling their pain in the same way. And I was like, man, I want to work from anywhere. And I felt like we proved that a little bit in COVID. And so I just wanted that opportunity to travel a little bit. No, James, I had no idea what I was going to do. I thought, I'll write. I've got enough I think I've got enough connections to at least sustain myself with some publications around town. Let's hope. I'll put myself out there, see if I can get some retainer copywriting jobs. And then let's see. But the thought of like social media or MCing, it hadn't even crossed my mind. Not when I first left in 2022. Mm-mm.
But then if we fast forward to now, not only have you sort of written for, Michelin Guide, Emirates, a lot of incredible publications, you're also, as you said, hosting for Zomato Korean, world-class Michelin 50 best, like some big boys and girls. And at the same time, I want to understand the idea behind the Best of Dubai series and how did that come about? Because it's a really, and for me and for a lot of people, it's amazing because you really get into the heads of some of the biggest names in the country to understand their takes and things like this, because when you see it, it's really cool because it's fast, it's snappy, it's amazing.
Thank you. I mean, it's honestly, it's just a bit of fun. It's that was what it was for. I was watching, these guys in the UK were doing it. There's this wonderful girl in Ireland that's doing it. There's another guy in Hong Kong who was doing it, and no one was doing it in Dubai. And I was like, we're better than all of them. We've got a better dining scene than all of these, or at least as good. We've got at least as good a dining scene, and no one's doing this. We've got to find out what we all thought. I used to write these articles. We'd write these articles all the time, but in long form listicles.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? We'd ask people what's their most iconic dish in the city, what's their must eat this summer. We'd ask all these experts around town, or we would say them ourselves. But no one was doing it yet in that, or at least that I hadn't seen. No one was doing it in that short form content that was seemingly super successful around the rest of the world. And so I just thought, why don't I do it? And I thought, I'll do 5.
Okay.
I'll do 5. I'll message 5 of my friends. I'll tell them that I'm doing it. If they're all terrible, we'll never do them again. We'll pretend they never existed, and we just get on with our lives. And I just thought, screw it. We just be put my big bold pants on, stand in front of the camera, and let's just chat with my friends. People who are up for it, who don't who aren't going to be, PR-y about it or worried or want to see the copy beforehand or the content beforehand. And at the time I had 2,000 followers. It was they were like, sure, let's just go for it. My first interview was with Leon from Nightjar. I've known him forever. I voice noted him like, hey Leon, how's it all going? So I'm thinking about doing this video where you tell me some of your favourite stuff. Are you up for it? And he went, yes, mate, want to come tomorrow? And that was it. We rocked up.
Perfect.
And he had no idea what I was going to ask him. And it went nuts.
And I want to know the first, especially about the first one.
Yeah.
So you had, did you have a crew? Was it one person, first of all? How did that work?
Yeah, so I was on a boat. I was on a boat party with Haiku. And it was a bit rocky, this boat. And I was up the top, sort of staring out to sea, trying not to puke. Mm-hmm. Haiku was also up on the top deck, also trying not to puke. So we were sort of staring straight ahead. And I was like, maybe we should talk about something to get our minds off this. And so I said to her, I was like, listen, I'm thinking about doing this thing. And would your team be able to kind of help me? I don't know how to create videos. I don't have video crew. And she was like, yeah, that sounds great. And so between the two of us, we did the first 5. And we did Leon and Chef Kelvin. We did Salem. We did. Gosh, now I can't remember who were in that first 5. Maybe Nick Alvis.
Yeah, Nick Alvis also. Yeah.
And we did them all in a day.
Wow. So those first 5 were in one day?
Yeah, I just brought 5 different outfits, and we toured around the city. I drove. We had a camera in the car. I had different T-shirts in the back, and we just went for it.
So before I get to those 5,
yeah.
How long did it take to film each one, roughly?
Oh my God, they take 7 minutes.
Perfect. So you go in, hi, do a quick setup. Okay, you ready?
Not even a setup. You're literally just standing there with a camera. And I'm holding a little mini mic, should we just give it a go? And he's like, yeah, let's just give it a go. Perfect. So we just messed around. I said, I'm going to ask you maybe 5 questions, and we'll just see how it goes. I don't want to know the answers. You tell me when you I'll know when you say it. The wonderful thing is, A, they're my friends. B, I've been in this industry for so long now. I've eaten or drunk in most of these places, so I've got an opinion too, and I really value all of their opinions. So I've never really disagreed with anybody, maybe once or twice, and it's just you're chatting with your mate. And I remember, so the first one went out, and it did pretty well. I think it was 100,000, something like that. But Kelvin's just flew.
Kelvin Chung.
Kelvin Chung.
Right.
His flew. And I was in Mexico City at the time on holiday, and I published it when I went to bed. When I woke up the next morning, I thought I'd been cancelled. It was like one of those days. I woke up the next morning and my phone was just on fire. My views had like shot up by about 100%. The comments and the likes and the good and bad and the shit. It was just, I was with my friends and I was just like, guys, like, I don't know what's happened. I'm freaking out. It was great. It was great fun.
Brilliant.
So it was lovely, but it was proved, I was on holiday, but sort of getting some content. It was all free. Like, I'm not charging anyone for these things. I just want to do it for the joy of it. And I just carried on doing them.
Yeah, but the thing is that from that,
Yeah.
right, anyone I speak to wants to be on it, and they've said, oh, you have to message Laura because I want to be on it. She hasn't had me yet. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, fine. Maybe it's because you're not good. No.
You start that route, I get in trouble.
But the point is, I'm a chef, so I can be a bit grumpy.
Yeah.
But the point is that series really highlights some incredible hidden gems on top of people's favorites.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
But you get to understand, whether it's the chef, the restaurateur.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool thing to do, right? And as you said, it's a little bit controversial because some people agree, some people disagree, and it's all of that kind of stuff. Yeah. But from that, at the same time, you've been asked, as I said, to host some phenomenal things.
Yeah.
And again, stepping into that limelight, when you're, again, I'm a chef, you've interviewed people there and then just after they've had and received their Michelin stars.
Yeah.
How is that for you?
Honestly, it's the best. That's the best thing that I do, because for most of these people that win these or earn these accolades, we've watched them. We've watched them from the beginning, opening their restaurants, their struggles. They're our friends, and then we see these guys up on stage, and they're emotional and they've done it, and you get someone like Himanshu who's like punching the sky, and you can't help but you're just so proud of these guys. It's the best feeling, and they're putting us Dubai on the map. So if I get to do and speak to them afterwards, I mean, I appreciate that. Maybe speaking to me is probably not what they want to do straight out of the gate. They want to go and celebrate with their team. So I'm ever so grateful that they give me the time. A, but B, I hope that I'm talking to them, and they can tell it's genuine, that I'm like delighted for them. I'm not somebody who doesn't know who they are, doesn't know where they came from, or hasn't eaten their food. I want to be that person who knows all of this stuff, who knows what this means, and be their biggest cheerleader in that moment. And that's, for sure, that what's come out of doing those little fun videos is this. I don't even know if you'd call it emceeing, right? It's like short little videos, short interviews, but getting those little moments, or from a selfish point of view, having those moments with those chefs at that time feels really emotional and powerful and memorable for me. And I hope in some small way it feels good for them too.
So I don't know if you remember this, Laura, but true story. So 2024.
Yeah.
So as you know, I was the sort of lead and head consultant for Reba.
Sure.
And when the Michelin Guide sort of came out, and the restaurant won a Bib Gourmand, and we won at the same time Michelin Opening of the Year.
Yeah, the big one.
You were the first person we'd spoke to.
Yeah.
And it was, of course, super emotional.
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on, because everybody's wow, and there was a melee and all of that kind of stuff. But genuinely, the emotion from you was like, congratulations, how do you feel, and all that kind of stuff. So from my perspective, and from the chef's perspective, who I also speak to, they really appreciate that, because it's genuine emotion.
Yeah.
And you can see that and feel that. you know. So I think that's an incredible thing to do. But at the same time, you do the other fun side of things, which is like Pizza Hut or Kareem and things like this.
I don't do Kareem, actually. They do not. But Deliveroo, I do.
But Deliveroo, you know, so and these awards are also, for me, just as important.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not just all about the Michelin game.
No, absolutely.
What these guys in Deliveroo are also doing,
yeah,
you know, is phenomenal. So how do you see that? How do you, when you're doing those, is it just as emotional?
I'm probably not crying with joy when, you know, Nando's wins, but like I'm loving it for them. I'm cheering them. It's definitely not the same feeling because I don't know these people,
Sure.
right? But I know the brands and I think it's great, and I think both matter. You know, we can't say that we don't go to a Michelin restaurant every day, but if you look at my Deliveroo orders, I mean, like I'm literally ordering from Deliveroo every day. So I appreciate and love all these brands as well.
Yeah.
Pickle, Rascals, all these local guys, 3 by Ava, like all these guys that are on Deliveroo.
It's amazing.
I love them. I love them too. So yeah, I probably, I don't know, but to be honest with you, I have fun at both. You know, like when I'm standing with the sponsors at Michelin, I'm making it, I want to make it a party. It's an absolute, it should be a great fun day there. And then in the same way that it should be a great fun day when it's a publishing house Food and Drink Awards.
But when you're presenting, whether it is at Michelin,
Yeah.
with, you know, the larger sponsors or, you know, Deliveroo or so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Are you, as the presenter or the MC, are you given a specific brief or a script, or do they just tell you, don't say these things? So how does it work?
That's a really good question. No one as yet has given me a script. No one yet has given me a script. I feel much more comfortable if I create a script. I think that's the control freak in me, or the thespian in me. Needs a script just to feel safe.
Right.
So I will write myself a script if it's like a restaurant awards. I will, but that's it. But, you know, with the roving reporting sort of stuff, you can't really plan. You kind of just have to. There's a lot of like improv and ad-libbing, and that's why it's great to know the industry. So you can kind of go up to Salam and chat to her, see how she feels. You can chat to, you know, food industry insiders because we know what they've been up to and what their favourite places are because I probably saw them there the night before. So it differs. Yeah, sometimes I'll write my own. Other time, and same for like Pizza Hut, you know, the fun the sort of like foodie championships. I'll give myself a kind of idea of what I want to, of the kind of running order. Yeah, so it's a bit of a mix.
But then what do you find specifically, you know, 2012 up to now, what makes, you know, the UAE so special when it comes to the foodie community?
I mean, I would say I feel relatively new to the community. I think when you're in journalism or when you're the editor of a magazine or a features writer in a mag, you're not fully in that food world, right? I haven't been in that. I've always loved it. I've grown up around food my whole life. But I've only really properly immersed myself in it since 2022, really. I've known all these chefs, but separately, but I haven't gone to the dinners and the lunches and the collabs and the, you know, gone to this, you know, we didn't have Michelins and stuff. So what I think I've learnt, or it's felt for me, is that everyone is very supportive of each other, by and large. Everyone is very keen on collabs. They're keen to champion each other. When one person is opening a restaurant in that neighbourhood, the others will come and support it. And I do feel like, even since 2022 to now, I feel like that's grown. You know, when everyone came together for Palestine, everyone came together, you know, when Al-Sakal started opening up, everyone came together when the Beirut explosion, all these different restaurateurs, hospitality giants, all kind of just went, right, let's all get together and do something. And I thought that was a turning point, I think. I hadn't seen anything like that before. The Beirut explosion, Palestine. Suddenly everybody was coming together in the food industry to try and do something. And I look at people like Chang from 1004 Gourmet. You know, he creates these lovely collabs with these restaurants using his ingredients, and like 100 people go from the industry. No PR needed. And the same with, you know, the Carney store boys at Alsacal Avenue. They'll open up, they'll have a barbecue, and everyone will come. It's lovely. And I'd love to see, I mean, you know, there's got to be competition. There's going to be healthy competition. There's going to be some ugly competition too. It's, you know, it's the nature of the beast. But I think doing those best ofs as well gives people the opportunity to champion the people that they love, which I love. People always say to me, you know, are you going to do, you know, a most overrated restaurant? You know, what's the worst restaurant in Dubai? I'm like, maybe I'd get a hell of a lot more views, but that's just not what it's about for me. I just want to champion all the great.
I'm going to ask you about that, because the first question that pops to mind is, if you take Laura at, let's say, 2021, late 2021, early 2022, and you're having a meeting with your team.
Yeah.
What is the sort of, this is wide question, what's the sort of general thesis or thought with journalists around chefs? Because now your opinion must be very, very different to what it was then in terms of getting to know the chefs. Because as you said before, you have an idea about the restaurant, you have an idea about the restaurateur, so on and so forth, but as a journalist, you're not really in it.
No.
Whereas now, you really do understand the community.
Yeah, I don't think it was quite as deep as it is now. You know, we would take it more as what's new, what's a big hit,
right?
What's trendy.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I don't know, even that may be just doing us a disservice. I still feel like even at What's On, we wanted to get to know the homegrown chefs as much as we did, you know, want to put Gordon Ramsay on the cover. We still wanted, you know, we still championed Reef when he went solo, Izu when he went solo. I still think that was part of what a lot of the magazines do. Time Out, What's On, Lovin', all of these brands, I think we still do champion the people, the individual. Yeah, I still think we do.
But then with the series that you have now,
yeah,
you know, you have a much wider understanding and knowledge of the industry.
Yeah.
How do you then plan the series? Because, you know, it's obviously taken off. People really watch it religiously, by the way.
I mean,
just to let you know. Of course.
I don't know if
because I know that they're excited about who's next, because it's a little bit like an award ceremony. Like, who's going to win? Who's next? You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
So I want to understand from your point of view, especially from the planning perspective. How do you do it? Is it now more people that you know, or is it people who you think would be sort of a bit left field, a bit more interesting?
Oh, God, James, I wish I could tell you that it was that intellectual. It really isn't. And I don't really have a plan. If anyone can tell me how to do it, that'd be great. But I've pretty much stuck to people that I know and people that I have been mates with for a period of time. That's how it's gone so far. It's purely like, you know, an inch of degree of separation.
Right.
Who I know will be easy. I want an easy life, James. Like, so I don't want someone who's going to cause me stress.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So if they're going to be like, I, you know, don't like this side of my body, or,
right,
you know, I want to see this, you know, edited version before you publish it, a couple of people have said that, but, you know, or, you know, cut that out, or, you know, can you give me an intro where you say this, 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 and that? I'm like, I can't be bothered. I just don't want to do any of that. Sure. And of course, what comes with good views is, you know, people want to pay to be a part of it, and I don't want to do that neither. You know, I'm using it as a way to really to champion these people and showcase their personalities. I'm just the mouthpiece, but from that has come some great opportunities for me for paid work, which is brilliant. I'm not going to say no to it if it fits with what I want to, if it fits with who I think I am and what feels good, then I'll absolutely do that. But yeah, by and large, it has been people that I think are cool, people that I've known for years and years and years. And I think that kind of helps make the videos feel genuine, because I genuinely like these people. I think if I didn't know them, maybe it would be a bit more stunted. Probably my most stunted was like Jason Atherton, right? I'd never properly met him. And he was in town and I was like, can I please interview him? But then I'm nervous. Right. And I don't know him properly. So I think that was probably one where I think I looked uncomfortable.
Okay.
It did great because it's Jason Atherton, but I didn't know him so well. So maybe I feel personally that when I know them, it does better.
It flows, and it's natural, and it's
fun.
Exactly.
And as time goes on, I meet new chefs, and we become friends. And then I'm like, do you fancy doing it? Don't get me wrong, like James, maybe some people want to be on it. People say no too. People say no, and that's their absolute right.
But why do they say no?
Oh, I think it's, you know, to say what your best restaurant is. It's an awful question, isn't it? I mean, who came up with this? Your best restaurant in Dubai is that's so, you know, if anyone asked me that, which they do, you know, on the street, you know, I mean, what a terrible question. Based on what?
Right.
On how I'm with friends, you know, right now, what I went to most recently, overall that I go to every day. I mean, it comes with a lot of other parts. So it's very hard to answer it. So typically I tell people, you know, you answer that how you like.
Right.
You can say it's your favourite restaurant is XYZ. You don't have to say it's the best restaurant, but what you're loving right now is how you interpret
and
that.
that changes day to day anyway, right? So
you crack on and do what you feel good. The rules are you just can't say, you know, your own as best as you can. Sometimes I get a bit lost in the hospitality in you know, the hospitality groups.
Yes.
And I'm like, it's only when I edit it back, I'm like,
you said 3 of your own, yes.
Just that one's connected to you somehow.
Yeah.
It's like a sort of, you know, like a map.
Oh yeah.
So you got to be a bit careful, but you know, I let it slide. It's not.
But what would you like to sort of see or do with this series?
You tell me.
Because it's super cool. No, because also it's not just, obviously, I mean, from my perspective, the gastronomic landscape within the Middle East is huge, and everybody in the world is coming here.
True.
Obviously, the UAE is like the hub,
yeah.
But then we've got the other countries around us that are also pushing forward. So do you think that there's an opportunity for you to do these kinds of things?
Do you think there's an opportunity for me to do these kind of things?
I think there's always a massive one.
I mean, look, I'd love to take it abroad. I'd love to do that for the Middle East. You know, your best restaurants in Beirut. Right. Or at least find somebody who's doing it there and champion them. Collab with them.
Or collab, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'd love it. Let them take me to all their best restaurants. I'd love to take the guys who do, you know, this in Hong Kong and the UK and Ireland. I'd love them to come here and me show them around at the top, you know, 5 places that people have said that are the best restaurants.
Because there's such an incredible array, as I said to you before, of just talent, whether it's simple street food or 3-star Michelin. There's so much to champion here.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's just caused this sort of tsunami of F&B to be, you know, within the region. Oman, Kuwait, Bahrain, Doha, Saudi, of course, you know. So there's a lot of super cool things happening there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people want to emulate what's happened in Dubai, right? And put a spotlight on these great places that already have got amazing restaurants, have already got amazing chefs. You're right. They deserve the spotlight too.
And in terms of having parties and being amazing with people, how and when did you decide to become a celebrant? Because this is quite a unique thing to do.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, I love love, don't I? I love love, James. I was asked to do it. I was asked to do it for some friends of mine.
How long ago? When was the first
recent.
Right.
2022, 3?
Right. Okay.
Recent.
So around the same sort of time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, was it 2022? I can't remember when they got married now. And they cornered me at my birthday party, I think, at my house. And they said, we'd love you to be our celebrant. And I was like, I would be honoured. What do I do? And then they said, "Oh, you'll figure out. You'll be grand.
Yeah.
You'll figure out. Super like
You
chill.
just need to have it's like a best man speech.
Yeah. They're like, you'll be grand. I was like, okay, sure, happy to do it. About a week later, 5 or 6 days later, I had another friend message. No, she took me out and said, "Would you be our celebrant at our wedding?" And I was like, I would be honoured to be your celebrant. So then I was like, right, I really need to know what this is all about. So I took a course. I asked Helen Farmer, because she was a celebrant too. I asked Helen Farmer, like, what do I do? And she said, listen, I did it the fancy way. You don't need to do this, but I did it with the UK Society of Celebrants. They have a course, you get a mentor. It's like an exam. You can do that if you want.
And online?
Online,
right?
But with a mentor that you have to have Zoom calls with.
Okay, cool.
For a couple of,
sure,
like once a week or twice a week, something like that. It lasted like 3 months. It was kind of intense.
So quite intense.
It was kind of intense. It was a lot more intense than I had planned. Lots of script writing and role plays and sourcing readings and all this kind of stuff. But it was really great. Simon Smith, my mentor, was fab. And he took his role seriously, and it made me kind of love it. Because he loved his job, and I found that great. And so a lot of it was just, it was from start to finish, just learning all the different ways that we could be a celebrant and what worked well for me. So by the time I was ready to do Freya and Dave's, my friends for their South African wedding, I felt super ready. Absolutely shit and bricks I was, though. I was nervous as anything. But when it was done, it was like the best 25 minutes ever. I felt really happy with how it went. And then 3 months later, I went and did the one for Alice and Josh in Italy. And again, it just felt great. And in between those times, I don't really know how I got these jobs. I was marrying people in Abu Dhabi and in the desert. I had a vow renewal at the top of a dune to a family a wife that didn't know she was getting her vows renewed. And all her family had rocked up to the top of this dune, and she turned up in a dune buggy, not knowing what was going on. That was lovely. Married to people in Arabian Golf Club, in Sonara, in Mika, and Abu Dhabi. A gorgeous little wedding there.
So I want to know, first of all, when you got, let's say, qualified, and after the 3 months, do you have to take an exam, or do they just say, "Here's your certificate, you qualified"?
They gave me a certificate. I had to take an exam, but it was theatre again, right? I stood up.
Is it like a live exam in front of like an audience?
It was in front of Simon Smith.
Okay.
And I have to conduct a wedding, and he is effectively the audience.
But you have to be serious, right?
I'm standing there with a book and everything at the top of the altar, and I'm pretending that, someone's here and someone's here.
Right.
And I'm marrying them from start to finish, music and all. It's brilliant.
So
it was wild.
He said, "Well, congratulations, Laura."
Yeah, well, he told me.
I now pronounce you celebrant.
Yeah.
And then obviously you have the first gig, which is super scary.
Super scary.
Right.
But wonderful.
And in that time, I want to also ask, when people do ask you to become a celebrant, whether you know them or not.
Yeah.
Irrespective of that,
how
much research do you need to do, or how much does the couple need to give you?
I mean, it's a fair whack. It's a lot more. It's probably a bit like you're preparing for a session like this. It's kind of that. So I would have 3 calls with them. So the first call together, so that we can understand whether there's a good fit.
And is that a long call, short call?
About 45 minutes. Then I would give them both the questionnaire about their love for each other. Different things.
Separately.
It's up to them. They can either do it together over a bottle of wine, or they can do it separately, whatever makes them feel more comfortable. But it's things like, when did you meet? How did you know that you fell in love? What was your engagement like? What do you love about him? What annoys you about him? All this kind of stuff.
Right.
Where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be when you're 80?
And you wrote these questions?
Yeah,
okay.
I just write these questions, and these are then brought back to me, and then I will create the script. Each one is individual to each couple, depending on who they are and how they want it.
Okay.
And at the very end, it will ask, and we have another we have another chat where I'm like, how do you see this wedding? Do you want it to be fun? And, do you want it to be emotional, romantic? What do you want your audience, your family and friends to feel when they're here? Do you want them part of it? Do you want them to get up there with you? Do you want readings? Do you want rituals? Do you want elements? What do you want? It can be anything. Some people are like, we want it classic. We want it romantic. We want it really meaningful. Some people are like, we want it fun. We want it romantic, but we want it to be silly, because that's what we are. And so I share ideas of what I think could work. And they say yay or nay. And using their interviews, I'll put together something that talks about them and who they are, how they met, a couple of elements or rituals that they can do together. Really, like, the ceremony has always been the bit that nobody really, loves. You kind of want to get the ceremony bit done so that you can all, crack on at the bar.
Yeah.
And I totally get that, And so the idea is that for 25 minutes, I hope to make it fun and memorable for everybody involved. I hope I do that. I do it genuinely and with love and with fun, without stealing the spotlight, right? It's not my day.
But you're still a massive part of the day.
Yeah, you're a key moment for 25 minutes, but it's all got to be pointed at them. I find it super emotional when I know the people.
Right.
And I love that. But when the bride comes down the aisle, it's so amazing, James. Like, I don't know about you at your wedding, but the guys genuinely haven't thought too much about the wedding day. They really, want to get married, of course. But the wedding day itself, don't know, they've left quite a lot of this to the bride. Or they haven't thought about the emotion of it all. These men, when they stand next to me, are so emotional. It really hits me. And they're nervous. So I always tell them, you come down with your boys, down the aisle with your boys. This is just as big a day for you as it is for everybody else. So you hang back there with everybody and you all come down. I'll make sure that everybody claps for you. So they'll come down.
That's nice.
He'll stand with me. And then they're super, and I'm like, you face me, you face this way, and I'll tell you when she's there, ready for you. And they're just like this big bag of nerves, and I can feel them, should it be now? Should I turn now? And they're that moment, and then I'm like, go for it. And then they turn around, and it's like my friends, both of them who I love, when it's like my friend at the end. I love that feeling.
Wow.
And it's the same with anybody, after a while, these people that you speak to, even the couples that you don't know, it's an intimate relationship that you have with them.
But you've built a rapport anyway,
Absolutely, right? Yeah. So you know their love story, their most sort of intimate memories of how they fell in love. You now know this information, and you've got to share it in a genuine way to their family and friends. And I love doing that. I haven't done it enough this year, but I would love to get back into it.
Because I just think it's such a... I mean, I don't think I could do it, Laura.
Absolutely,
do you know why?
Could.
Because it's just the pressure All right, the pressure of, for me, I would be thinking about that, like making sure that everything is connected, everything is well, even after rehearsal, so on and so forth. But I agree with you, that specific moment when they've sort of met and they're looking at each other, and now, because you've still got the adrenaline pumping, right?
Sure.
So you're still
I don't know about, I still get nervous. I get nervous for every little mini mic interview. I get nervous for every MC gig. I get nervous for every celebrant. But I think that just means that we care.
True. I agree.
I
agree.
I think the minute that you don't feel nervous, I don't know. Maybe not. But I think if I'm not nervous,
Something's wrong.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got to have something, or whether it's nerves or adrenaline. I think you've got to have some of that. Or at least for me, sometimes I do my best work when I'm absolutely bricking it.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's the thing, though. You need those nerves, kind of like a performer, in order to push you forward and sort of get you there.
Yeah.
Wow. So then, the other thing I wanted to understand is, because you've been in the region for some time, you've known the dining and the restaurant scene, and now you know it particularly well because of the job that you do. What do you see the future of dining within the Middle East?
Do you know, I think I'm still naive to the knowledge of the whole of the Middle East. I'll lay that out for you right now. My whole world and life in work and culinary has been super specific to the UAE. I've not managed to, I've gone on holidays to these places, but I don't know it, right? And that's on me. But I look to these chefs from here who are heading over to Amman, who are going to Beirut, who are like setting up shop in Cairo. And they're like, this is going to kick off. And they're learning about these ingredients and olive oil and how to cook in these really amazing ways that I don't know anything about. So I think that the world has got to start looking at the Middle East as real culinary hubs, not just Dubai, me included. I need to start going. I want to start spending time in Amman. Seems to be all kicking off in Amman. I want to go to Beirut. Man, they deserve some love. They all love it. No one wants to leave. Let's all go check it out. Let's go and see what these amazing dishes are all about, where it all came from. So I'm hoping, I'm hoping that everyone gets the spotlight like Dubai has had. Dubai itself, I think, Dubai's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. Our talent pool is going to get bigger and bigger. These new guys are going to grow. Aren't we lucky to be here?
Incredibly lucky. But I think you hit the nail on the head in terms of...
Did I?
There's this sort of capital of gastronomy which is here.
Yeah.
Right? But the outreach has got much, much bigger. If you look at MENA's 50 Best, for example, that is one place where you can really start to see, in the first year, there was a lot of Zoomers and all of that kind of stuff. But if you look at the list now, I think 90% of it, because I'm a geek, is homegrown and just chefs from all over the world. And also that they're diversifying.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that in MENA's 50 Best, there would have been a pizza shop. But if you look at Marmalata and what Raj is doing, it's just absolutely phenomenal.
Isn't it?
Right?
And completely against the grain. Doing something completely different in his own lane, doing what he wants to do. And the people love him for it.
Yeah, and he makes people queue. And it's not through any fault of his own, but the fact that people queue and they really queue. But
absolutely.
Because he's got that 3-star Michelin per se Thomas Keller background and he's super hospitable, people love him for it, right? So, well, Laura, now we've come to the quick fire round. I'm going to ask you. So this is an extended quickfire, especially for you.
Okay.
Now, the first question is always the hardest, whether you're a chef or not a chef.
Okay.
What's your favorite ingredient?
Salt.
Salt.
Yeah. It's my absolute... I disgust myself with how much salt I put on my food.
You know, I'm not surprised. Congee soy sauce, age of 2 years old.
I think that's it. If it's not salt, I'll say soy sauce. I just went to a hand roll place and they almost murdered me for putting so much soy sauce. But yeah, salt. I love the stuff. Isn't it bad?
No. But the thing is, I was
of all the ingredients, salt.
I was doing an intro for the show the other day, and I was telling the listeners and the viewers how I like my sourdough first thing in the morning. So grilled butter, salt.
100%.
You know, straightforward. Yeah. So if I'm ever in a cafe, you know.
Absolutely.
Don't ask.
I don't want table salt though. You know, you want like nice rock salt. You want to crinkle it in your hands.
Thank you.
Pour it.
Thank you.
I'm an absolute sucker for it. Salt or olive oil. These are my two. But salt.
Spicy or pickled?
Spicy. Sorry, Steve Floweth. I just don't like pickles. Or anything fermented, I struggle with it. So spicy, yeah.
Fish and chips or Greg's pasty?
I mean, you've literally named two of my favourite things. What pasty?
Sorry, I'm gonna change it to sausage roll.
Fish and chips or a Greg's sausage roll?
Yeah.
Fish and chips from where though? You can get a really rubbish fish and chips, can't you?
But out of the two, you know, which one would you choose, Laura?
This is really fresh from the oven. First one that they hand out, Greg's.
All right, boom. Okay, next. Best restaurant in Dubai.
That's a terrible question. Who asked this? Best restaurant right now, one I'm loving. You can't ask me that, James. It's terrible. One I'm loving right now. I should have prepared that. I should have known that you were going to ask me that. Best restaurant. Really best restaurant.
That you love at the moment.
Look, can I give two?
Yeah.
All right. So let's say best restaurant for the meal that made me like super emotional. I was with my mum, really once in a lifetime. FZN.
Okay.
Really like.
Yep.
This is.
I got it.
But I can't. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there all the time. Right?
Sure.
For obvious reasons.
So from an experiential
but
perspective,
from like a taste sensation, FZN, and I will never forget that memory going with my mum.
Perfect.
For like every day, having a great meal, steak frites, CQ brasserie, with my girlfriends, like, I love it. It's loud and rowdy and casual and fun. The food is always on point, and I just love it.
Perfect. Love it.
I can't believe I've named it right now, okay?
Best bar in Dubai.
Oh my God. I mean, best bar, I will always go to Honeycomb. I will always go to Honeycomb.
No, but it's cool.
It is so cool.
It's a cool place.
It's just fun and cool. And the fact that it can get me, I can go even though it's in Business Bay.
Yeah. Oh.
Like, that's saying something, I think. But I have always had a good time in Honeycomb.
Yeah. No, hands down, agreed.
Yeah.
Most underrated spot in Dubai.
Most underrated spot in Dubai. I can't believe you're asking me my own questions. I think that underrated. What doesn't get enough love in this city? Bocca.
Oh,
does it get enough love? Maybe it does. Okay, let me do another one.
All right, so Bocca's one. It's fine. you can do two. It's fine.
I just think Bocca should be it should be just rammed all the time.
But vodka's good.
Yeah, but is it underrated? I think it's rated.
It's rated.
It's super rated.
Michelin
it's in
Green
Michelin.
Star.
It can't count. It can't count. Scratch that. Don't use that. What's your most underrated? Help me.
I would say for me, I love anything in Al SoCal. And I love everything in Al SoCal because it's kind of like a borough market for me.
I mean, I would totally agree, but I would say I just love it. I feel like it's rated. Maybe it's not. Okay. Let me get my thinking cap on. Wait. Underrated.
A place that needs a little bit more attention.
It's so good. I've forgotten his name. What's the Irish pub in the middle of town?
Not Maget's. Reform.
Nope. Shakeside Road.
Okay, we'll come back to you for underrated. So then, Laura, I'm going to ask you best breakfast in Dubai.
Right now, I'm obsessed with the breakfast at Pie House.
Oh,
Obsessed with it.
good work.
I think they call it like the Balkan brunch.
Yeah.
So it's like a mini little pie.
Yeah, super cool spot.
21 grams is like burek, but miniature.
Super cool spot as well.
Lathered in butter.
Yeah.
Soft-boiled egg. I think trout caviar, avocado, salmon. It is literally my breakfast of choice all the live long day. I'm obsessed with it.
All right. Best cafe in Dubai.
Best cafe in Dubai.
I'll break it down. Instead of cafe, I'll say coffee.
Best coffee. I mean, sometimes you just want your neighbourhood coffee shop, right? Yeah. So there's a little place called Skinny Genie that is right next to my house. They are so friendly in there.
Oh, that's nice.
And I get a flat white from them when there's no parking outside, when there's free parking.
Okay. So, underrated.
Oh my God, what is the name of it? Do you know it?
It's a pub?
It's a pub, an Irish pub off Shakeside Road, old school, Irish, like Diggle.
We'll find it and we'll put it in the show notes. I know the one, but I completely forgot. But yes. I completely forgot.
I don't want to say McDiggles. This is why it's so underrated. I can't even remember the name. McBiggles. My best friend is going to kill me that I don't know this name. Right. Next to Stables.
Yeah. And it's sort of passed me. Do you know what we'll do, Laura? We'll put it in the show notes.
This is going to be so... You know what I'm talking about.
Everybody knows.
The great... Anyway, go in there. It's like... Looks like an Irish pub.
And it's filth.
In the most perfect way. Yeah. Like, the fry-up is just the breakfast of champions. And have half a pint of Guinness. I can only stomach half a pint of Guinness. Half a pint of Guinness, this sausage platter. I mean, it's everything that you're not allowed. And sitting there with your mates, it brings me absolute joy. What is it called?
So is that like a Sunday gig?
That's that's like a deeply hungover, meet all your friends, sit in there, and just have a great old school time.
All right. Best presenter in Dubai.
Best presenter. Well, I don't think anybody moderates better than you.
Come on.
I swear. That's a job that I couldn't do. Moderating. You have to listen to everybody and make sure everybody gets the same amount of time on the stage. I don't know how you do it.
Do you know who I think is really good? Helen.
Oh, Helen Farmer.
But I mean, she's like...
Yeah, she's got the skills. She's definitely got the skills.
Because also she's multi-talented, and also Tom Urquhart, of course, in terms of how they facilitate different subjects.
True. Yeah, I mean, you and I we stay in our
lane. Right?
But can you imagine if one of us was sent to like the medical industry?
Right.
Or here, Laura, go and talk about cars. I wouldn't have a clue. Yeah, a lot of them could do it very well.
Or the business breakfast. That's another one, which is like blows my mind.
You mean like in radio presenter land?
I think anything.
Or just
wherever.
Best presenter. Yeah, I'm going to say you. Oh, I'm going to suck up.
No,
and I'm going to say you.
As of this moment right now, what would you say are your top 3 favourite cuisines to eat?
Right now or just ever before? Just ever before.
Ever before, right now? Your choice.
I mean, look, I'm half Malaysian. Malaysian cuisine, I think, is sorely underrepresented. Maybe it's too niche, but
No.
I would love it. I'd love it here.
Very good.
I go to Haramanis and I go and have his nasi lemak, which used to be only on a Wednesday and Thursday, and now he's doing it daily. I think because I've demanded it so much. Nasi lemak there is fantastic. So I think Malaysian is what I am loving. I'm also loving. I'm really loving the Levant, right? I'm loving Middle Eastern cuisine right now. I'm really getting into different dishes, learning a lot more. Maklube has become my life. Mulkia, not so much. Green slime, not so sure. But I'd love to. Mensef, these kind of these really homely Middle Eastern dishes. I feel like I've been kind of getting into that world a lot more recently. Something that I just wasn't really aware of or didn't really take advantage of. And my third one. God, it's hard, isn't it?
It is hard, but that's why it's good.
But I love all food, James. This is the problem. Is sandwiches a cuisine?
Sandwiches is cool, by the way. And I think we've never, in almost 200 shows, we've never had sandwiches, by the way.
Oh, I love a good
So this
sandwich.
is good.
I love a good sandwich, me. I would take a cracking sandwich shop. When I hear that a new sandwich shop is opening, guaranteed I'm there.
This is underrated for me.
Absolutely. Do you know what? This is underrated. Great
Sandwiches,
sandwich.
yeah.
Great sandwich is underrated and easy to mess up, I think. But we're getting a few restaurants that are kind of getting closer.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that.
Do you know what? Hot off the press, Nikki from Neighbourhood Food Hall.
Our friend Nikki,
the legend. He's now pushing for chefs to come. If you're a new chef or an old chef,
yeah,
he's pushing one of the spaces in that food hall to become the next super cool sandwich shop.
I think.
So that's going to be super interesting.
Watch me be the first person in the queue.
Be amazing. Now, who would you say are your top 3 food heroes, but they don't necessarily need to be chefs?
Okay. I mean, my father has to be my first food hero.
Love that.
He has to be.
Love that.
He kind of taught me flavour, and he taught me, how to be a good everyday cook.
Okay.
I don't do it a lot, if I'm honest with you. I'm out too much, but he created the basics and made it super simple. None of it was, and it was all just nothing. He never used a weighing scale ever. It was all just in his mind how he did it, and he wasn't a big time chef or anything. He was just in a canteen. But I loved how he made food, and how seriously he took it. Everything had to be cleaned. Everything had to be looked after. He was he was big food hero of mine. Other food heroes? Himanshu. Massive, I remember him in 2014, sitting in the Sheikh Zayed Hotel and sort of being the first man to be so molecular, but you would never say it. It's but it was molecular gastronomy. He had we had a Jackson Pollock sort of chart trolley. Mm-hmm. He had big hair, super young, telling us all about this food. Quite quiet though. And to see him in 10 years become this golden boy of Indian cuisine around the world and in Dubai, he makes me very proud.
Yeah.
So that's definitely number 2. And number 3, chef hero. Cooking hero. Do you know what I've like, it's difficult, isn't it? Cooking hero.
But you've got 2 very strong contenders, by the way.
Yeah, I think...
Super strong.
I think my father and Himanshu. Let's put a woman in there. Can I say my mum?
Of course.
I mean, you know, my mum didn't love cooking so much, not the way that my father did. She did it as for it to be a job, as a job. But as time has changed, as she's gotten older, now she cooks for the love of cooking. She didn't cook much, but watch that woman make a sherry trifle for Christmas. And she does it with absolute love and passion. And I love watching it. So yeah, I'd say my mum.
That's amazing.
In case I'm killed. Imagine if I just said my dad. So my dad, Himanshu, and my mum.
But I mean, again, you know, you've got your mum and dad.
Yeah.
And a 3-star Michelin chef.
Not bad.
All together.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's pretty cool.
I'll put them there.
Now, from all of your experience, whether it's in Lancaster, Shanghai, Dubai, or wherever you've travelled, can you tell me either your I'd have to say funniest, either restaurant incident or kitchen incident that you've seen or been involved in?
I relay the story of me at 17 when I worked in my mum's canteen. She worked in Crawley, which is just sort of outside Gatwick, in a big industrial estate. And she was in charge of the big canteen there for whatever the company was called. It's 1,000 people or whatever. She would feed them all with her team in the canteen. And I would have to work with her in the summers and holidays. And it's hard graft, you know. It's really early mornings, cold, and you are prepping for the lunch shift. And I was so hungover, deeply. I'd drunk too many Bacardi Breezes that any 17-year-old should ever have drunk. And I am in, it's cold, it's raining outside, and my job is to make the egg and cress sandwiches.
Oh.
There is nothing worse than egg and cress sandwiches when you're not feeling great. And I had to, piled high of, white bread, butter, egg and cress slop, cress sandwich, and then put it into the sandwich machine, lock it down, and just keep making them. And trying to do that while holding in your nose and your mouth. And also, everybody that's in catering talks about food, right? So whatever you're doing, you're talking about food. And so the lovely girl who was with me making the other type of sandwich was talking about what she had eaten for dinner. And she was like, we made this great, duck à l'orange. I was just like, I can't. The thought of duck right now, while smelling egg and cress sandwiches, I was just in and out of that bathroom.
Whoa.
Like you wouldn't believe. And I just was in tears. And I just found it the hardest. It was just the hardest day of my life. And I remember then just thinking, this is not for me. I don't know how anybody does it. Who works the kitchen? How can you do it? Too many smells.
But the funny thing is, now you love sandwiches.
And now I love sandwiches. just don't make them egg and cress.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's quite a good Halloween story for you.
God!
Trick or treat.
Oh God, I can't.
Egg and cress.
Who even came up with egg and cress?
The Brits.
Oh, dreadful.
Yeah.
Absolute worst.
Now, what advice would you give to anyone sort of wanting to get into the media landscape?
What, a journalist?
Mm-hmm.
I think take an internship. Absolutely take an internship. Doesn't really matter what... I'm testament. I didn't study journalism. I think I kind of wish I had, just to give myself the basics quicker. But if you want to get in media, contact the agent, contact the publishing houses, contact the media groups, and offer yourself up as a free intern. But work hard at it, as if you're not being, as you're not free labour. Really work at it. Say yes to offer yourself up to all of the things that need doing. Make yourself needed and dependable. And do it for 2 months. Do it for 2 months, do it for 3 months, and just suck it up and do it all. Learn on the job from great people. I mean, I did it. I did it at What's On when I first started. You know, Explorer was totally different, but at What's On, I was working with journalists who I look up to now. Kerry McDermott, Rob Chilton, Mark Evans, Matt Fortune. All these guys were great writers, and I just learnt off them. And they liked me because I was willing to help or do anything. You wanted me to like jump off this and dive into that and eat 28 burgers and do a review? I'll do it for you, no problem. You want me to go and get them all? I'll do that. Do that as an intern. You know, offer yourself, say yes to everything, and learn. But do it for free for like a month or two, whatever you can stomach. Especially if you're younger. Like learn from them, and then take it from there.
Now, the final question, Laura, is what advice would you give to your 16-year-old self?
Don't drink so many Bacardi Breezers. You don't even like them anyway. Study a little harder in English. Understand where your apostrophes go. And consider I don't know. And stay enthusiastic. Stay enthusiastic about what you love. Even if people think you look ridiculous or they're intimidated by, just, if you love it, like, continue doing it. Yeah.
Now, if people wanted to get hold of you, how can they do that?
Well, my telephone number is... Call me. Well, just go off and, you find me on Instagram. That's what everybody does.
DM you on the gram.
DM me. Slide into my DMs.
Done deal. So I'll put all of that in the show notes.
Lovely.
Laura.
Thank you.
Now, the only thing that's left for me to say is on behalf of the Chef JKP podcast, first of all, thank you so much for coming on the show and considering that it's your first ever podcast. You've done an incredible job.
Was it all right?
It was amazing.
Really?
Genuinely. An absolute honour to have you here. The other thing is, I wanted to say is, please, 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 do not stop being yourself, because we love you for that.
Thanks.
And the series that you have is super special. Do not underestimate it, because we all absolutely love to watch it. It's incredible. And the energy that you bring to it, and not only that, the fact that you're championing so many other people is just phenomenal. So on behalf of the chefs, restaurateurs, and everybody else, thank you so, so much for doing it. Thank you.
I love doing it. It's an absolute pleasure. And I've loved chatting with you. It's almost like therapy. It's great. Same time next month?
Yeah, sure, done. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I've loved it.
Laura, thank you so much for such a thoughtful and fascinating conversation. What I took away is how Laura takes on every challenge in the most positive light. She is someone who I feel lifts up the room. You know that one friend in life who's the life and soul of the party? For me, that is exactly who she is. And I think right now we all need that friend in our lives. If you want to know more of what Laura is doing, head over to the show notes. To everyone listening or watching, if you enjoyed this episode, please help support the podcast simply by sharing this episode. Perhaps someone you know could be inspired from these incredible conversations, and that could give them something to spark them with. At the same time, if you wouldn't mind, leave us with a 5-star review on any podcast platform, as it genuinely helps people to discover the show. Also, a massive thank you to our sponsors Valrhona for making this content possible. Go and check them out. You can also support the show by picking up one of our amazing thermos bottles. They keep your drinks hot and cold for hours, by the way, and they're pretty cool. And of course, if you want to purchase those, all the links will be in the show notes. Finally, thank you for listening and staying until the very end, you absolute legend. This is Chef JKP signing out. Until next time, food is memories.